Let's talk about Java optional. In my previous video, I've introduced optional feature of Java, which was introduced in Java 8 to handle null pointer exception. Before proceeding in this video, I would request you that if you watched my earlier video of optional, you will better understand this video, because in my earlier video I mentioned that I will be sharing you one real world example how in companies, in banks, we are using this feature to avoid null pointer. So let us understand this example, which will give you deep dive inside how optional work and what are the methods we usually use to avoid null pointer. This is just a beginning, because there are in optional we can write a complete book how to use it, how to avoid null pointer. I will going to cover many more videos in this topic, but for now we'll understand this with an example. So let's see. Right now you can see my screen, and in this we have created a class called user login example. This is a real world example. When I'm saying real world, anywhere, either it's a bank or it's a insurance company, any of those service based company, or even some of the product based company, every company have a user registration or login user. These functionalities is like common no matter where you go. And this, if you're using Java, then optional you have to use it, because that says you are a better developer, because you are predicting what can happen in a program. So let us understand. So this is just a login class we have created, and in this class we are doing two things. One is we are calling register method to register our user, and then we are calling our login method to check the login. Here I am not currently using database or any of the Elastic or any of the Kafka related things to validate the user. It is moreover like an internal memory thing where it's just mimicking that same behavior, whether it's connecting to a database or any other thing. So now in future I'm going to cover how to connect to a database or Kafka or anything, but for now just focus on the issue or the concept we are trying to learn from optional. So here, just simple thing, I'm not going on the basics of this program, but for now you just understand that we are calling register user, we are passing our username, and we are passing our password. So we are registering for user, and once these 4 users are registered in memory or in a database, then user will definitely log in. Like for example, when you sign up on Facebook or sign up on Google, they do the same thing. They register your information in a database. After that, you log in your Google or you log in your Facebook account. You are passing your username and your password. Now, and then it will tell us whether user is present. Then they will check first whether user is present in database or it is not present in database. If it is not present in database, or if you are passing wrong credential, it will tell you those information. Now, so if you see, it's quite simple here, right? So now I will run this program, so that then we'll go through what these method does, what we are doing in this register user and what we are doing in login. So now we ran this program, and we see there are 3 line of output. First line is saying user already registered. If you see, right, that I am passing 4 user to register into to my account, basically to my database. Now username 1 is unique basically, and username 2 is also unique, username 3 is also unique. But in the 4th line, if you see, right, that I'm trying to register same user again. You cannot have duplicate user, right? So now whenever we are doing this, we are checking this and we are returning that this user already exists. So suppose I think you have faced this thing. If you try to create an email ID and it already upfront tell you in the UI that, oh, this user already registered, or this user, you cannot use this username. So similar thing is happening. There is one more scenario. I can also pass, for example, empty string. Later I will show you, okay? But for now, let's focus on this one. So once we are checking this one, now understand, logged in with Will. What this line means is, now if you see this whole bunch of 2 line of code is written over here. So if you see here, right, once I have registered my user, I am passing Will and I am passing the password. Now I am checking whether my user is present or not. First I am checking whether my user is present or not. Then if user is present, then okay, then I will proceeding further to successful login, and then I logged in with that user. This if present, if you focus on, this is a Java optional method. Yeah, so we are using optional in our real world example. In my previous video we have used off nullable. Now in this video we are using if present use case. Going forward, we are going to use more methods of optional in our real world coding example, which will help you to ace an interview or to even perform in your day-to-day life when you're working in a company. Now if you see my second example, in second scenario we are passing username and we are passing wrong password. So if we are passing wrong password or even if a wrong username, we are saying that it's a wrong credential. Same thing we are using if present, if not present, because the reason we are using if present here, you also need to make sure the benefit of using optional, I will tell you later on. Okay, let's first understand that what this register user service does and what this login service does. Now if we go to our register user, so if you see in register user, we are getting username and password. We are storing those value inside our hash map. The reason we use hash map, later I will cover the topic of collections. That in that topic I will cover hash map, but for now you just consider that it is an in-memory database. Basically it is a collection basically, but in this scenario it is mimicking as a database. So we store that value in our hash map, and then if user is already registered, if user is already registered, we are creating a new, if user is new, we are creating a new user and putting inside our hash map. If user is already registered, we are telling that, okay, this user is already registered, please try with different username. So this is the logic we are checking. Now coming to our login example, how are we doing login here? So now if you see, right, that my login user class or method is optional. Why we are using optional here is because we know that when you are doing login, right, you can pass null value. This value can be empty. Even a password can also be an empty, or even can be a null, or even can be a white space. Now, so if this value is empty or null, by using optional, we are imagining that this value may be present or may not be present. That's why we are using optional. So to avoid null pointer. So now we are checking whether user is present in our map, and if user is not null and if password is equals to password, then we are sending that user back, means that user is there, so we can log in successfully. If user is not present, so in normal scenario, right, we are just returning its empty optional. Suppose if you are not handle this scenario right, there might be a chance that it will give you a null pointer exception. Now if you see here, one more thing, if I pass an empty string here, so I think what we'll do is we'll just create one more. Okay, so if suppose we are registering a user which is empty, nothing will happen. If you see, this program will not break. Okay, even now if I'm logging with a empty user. Now I also do one more thing. I am passing null. See, nothing is breaking in the program. That's the power of optional. So now the question comes to this, that what is the benefit of optional in this program? In this program, we are checking where value may be absent, such as during login with invalid credential without throwing null pointer. You understand, right? Means we are passing wrong value, and with the use of optional we are not getting null pointer exception. As you can see, I am passing null here. With this optional, I am not getting null pointer exception. This also helps us to indicate that the result may or may not be present. This makes our code more expressive and self-documenting. So if you are using optional, it is the feature of optional is that code is self-descriptive. Means it is self-documenting. It's quite clean code, and this is the way you should write your code. By using optional, our code becomes more robust, less error prone. These are some of the benefits of using optional. Thank you.